Today, we move our iron production above ground. We then paint the city, various shades of color, and finish with some hardcore parkour. That sounds like a bit of you? Stick around for the fun. Hello and welcome! We are back with another episode of Satisfactory. Now last time, we were left with this. I'm still hyped about it. I can't believe what we've got here. But we are going to expand on this. So, first thing I have been doing while we've been off screen here is I have moved everything from down below up here into these storage containers. Now, not all of these are full. A lot of these on this side aren't actually full. But you can see on the right we've got all our bare essentials. So if we come back down here, there you go. We are all clean, and I've laid the foundation. I've kind of ramped up the hill a bit so you can't really see anything. I've upgraded all of these to Mark 2s if they weren't already. So we have, oh yeah, fun fact, you probably just noticed, you can put these on foundations. They actually raise up if you put the foundations down. I found that sometimes I needed to have one foundation missing so I could place it down and rearrange it as I wanted, but then you can put it back in afterwards. So that's cool. So that makes it a bit more cleaner. So you can see down there, these ones are kind of inset a bit because it was too high, but all these are kind of set up as well. So these are all hooked up to the power. So you can see I have set up these walkways along the roof of this this kind of undersetting here. I don't know, we're gonna call it the basement maybe for now. The underground. Oh, the underground, let's call it the underground. So part of the underground is, yeah, we've got this, so you couldn't go up another level. These would poke through the floor, which wouldn't be so bad into the buildings, but for actually getting around, I kind of wanted them just to be kind of self-standing. So these go everywhere all along this kind of crisscross pattern. If I jump, you can kind of see it. So you can get everywhere here, and you can also run along this as well, which makes it easy. But these go up into all the buildings. I have made sure that they are all set up again, so you can see here, all up into the buildings, and you'll be able to pull this down, as you can kind of see here, going into all the miners. They're all set up. Now, these ones obviously had to be inset into the roof here because the miners were a bit too tall, like this one and this one. All the rest were fine. Oh, and I found, actually, while I was kind of mucking around, I don't know if I can get down here with, oh yeah, I can go down the ramp. We have a cave. Now, I've seen stuff on Reddit about the caves, and yeah, we'll explore this at some point, but for right now, that can be the dark zone that we kind of avoid, because I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet. But that's there, so that's cool. I don't know if it leads anywhere, if it's just kind of like a little cave system, but maybe we do something pretty cool with that at some point in time. Who knows? So yeah, what we need to do, I've kept the steel factory up and running, so you can kind of see that these are still going over. I've moved them around a bit, and they're kind of a bit more cleaner heading over here. And my walkway's kind of finished here because I haven't extended all the way out that way. So we've got our little steel factory continuing to run because we're going to need a lot of those beams and pipes going forward. So I've kept that going. Now what I want to do now, which I haven't done yet, is I need to get all the basics set up again, just so they're kind of recreating, like refilling all our stocks as we go. So that's what I'm going to go do. This is everything we have to our name, so hopefully I can rebuild. I'm probably going to set up in this one here. I'm probably going to come into here and we're going to get our basics going, our tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 sort of stuff. So that will include, if I get back over here, so we're going to get, yeah, iron ingots, plates, rods, copper ingots, wires. I'll probably move copper into its own building, so copper, wire, and cables into its own building, so I'll do that separately. But iron plates, iron rods, we'll need screws, reinforced iron plates, and rotors. We'll try and probably get all those into the same building if we can, sort of efficiently. We'll kind of work on it. Maybe I just have all these basics in its entire building, these basics in its entire building. This probably counts as basic as well, and then once we start pushing stuff together to make like 2 different core elements into one, maybe these go into a separate building, and then we'll get down to all this stuff as we go. Concrete will also go into its own place, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We need to get to painting as well, but we will go ahead and do that. Maybe we just paint the buildings that we're kind of doing at the moment, so we kind of know that the unoccupied ones are yellow for the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go set that up, and then I will be right back. Alright, welcome back. So some time has passed, but we are here, and as you can see, we can kind of got some buildings now. It has a bunch of conveyor belts going around them. So I have set up in this building over here with the green slime ball stuff on the top. I've got all the nodes below running into here. So 3 iron nodes with the expansion of 1 more. That one with the rock on it, if you can remember that. There's a unbreakable rock on the top, but I'm assuming we're going to be able to break that eventually. And so I'll be able to just hook that straight up, feed it through, and then that will produce another one. That's all smelters in here. Plus we've also got our limestone making our concrete. Now in the main building here, I have set up our storage a bit better, so everything kind of comes in from the top. You can kind of see it feeding down there and spiraling a bit. And there's a bunch of different single storage units on the way down, and the ones that we access down the bottom. And the rest of the lines, the iron lines at least, are floating through this building just for effect, just kind of piercing through it here, coming over into this one where I am creating the basics. So I have gone and set up some plates, some rods, and some screws. So, and then all those are kind of feeding back onto this lift you can see here briefly, and then I just need to hook them through here, and then they'll start going to our storage. And the limestone, well, the concrete is already going straight into our storage. You can see it kind of looping down there. And then the copper, I'm not pulling out of this yet. I need to take it somewhere else. Probably going to go into this building over here and just go nuts making wire and cable. And then that will kind of come across, probably come around and then into the storage. But see, it's getting a bit more life to it. I would like to see some color, so I might get onto that next. But starting to get a bit more accents to it. It's a bit of factory to the city, but it's still very much a city. So let's go down and have a look at what we got. See if I can make this. This is gonna go bad. Really? All right. Well, since we're up here now, you can kind of get a little top-down view here of the kind of sorting system. So it kind of comes in across. I'm gonna feed some of these belts into here, and it goes down, spirals down this thing, and I'll show you an inside of there in a second. And then underneath us, you can kind of see the stuff coming out of these floors. Here we go. Now we are overloading these screws at the moment. This belt cannot handle all these screws. All these lines, so there's 6. They all need a line of their own. But I'm just feeding it all into the one down the line anyway, and it's just all going in there. So, but the idea is we're going to be pulling these lines off and going somewhere else to probably into the main building to kind of do assembler stuff. Yeah, so making the rotors and the reinforced plates and all that. So if we hop down this building now, so the top 2 floors are empty. This is where the iron line that we don't have set up will come into. You see it comes into the back end here, and then we'll do some stuff. But as soon as we go down to the next floor here, you'll see our first level. So we've got the iron floating around the entire outside of the building here, splitting up into a bunch of constructors. These are making rods into screws, and that's just flying out the other end. So cutting into 2 lines, and then they're going off. Except this one is wrong. That should not be coming from there. Should be coming from here. There we go. Meow. Off you go. Cool. Now the 2 floors below this are exactly the same. I figured that we need a lot of screws for a lot of stuff, so I've made 3 floors of screws. They all work exactly the same. You can see I kind of compacted them on the different floors as we've gone, but that's fine. And then we get down to this floor here, and we've got iron plates happening. So we have 2. So these constructors are working at 40% right now. That is because I'm pulling in each line of these. Oops, each line is coming in at 120. Yeah, each line's coming in at 120, and so I have 10 constructors here. So we're opening ourselves up to kind of future-proof a little bit, so that when we can get better miners or better lines or better whatever, we can still come into the same area and just upgrade these in terms of clock speed here. So we're going at 40%. This is using a quarter of the total power that it would be using, so it's worth doing it. Instead of just having ups and downs, it just steadies out the power instead of having spikes and troughs. So this is all working at 40%, so that's all coming out again over here onto this line. Now we've got 2 of these because each of these is producing 6 per minute. So that's 60 per minute coming out of this floor, 60 per minute coming out of this floor, and then the bottom floor we have rods. And these rods come out at 12 per minute, so making the full 120. So the bars were getting 120, the 120 per minute. The plates were getting 120 per minute, and then the screws were just getting whatever it is. There's so many, and so we're gonna pull these out the other way probably. We're gonna figure it out as we go along, but for now, it's just kind of coming in, and then we've got this tower that's going up and feeding it across. You can see here that we've got the lines coming through the building, coming across into here, splitting it up amongst the different floors, and then up the top going down there. And then this building is where all the smelting happening. So I'm pulling everything and going around the outside of the building to then merge it and push it through. Just for effect. I didn't have to do that, but I kind of think it gives it a bit of personality, so I'm kind of going with that. And then inside here, it's just, smelters, mergers and splitters. Nothing super special, and it's like that the whole way up amongst all of them. So nothing too special to see here. And then if I come into this one, you'll see our storage has been kind of ranked up. So I've blocked off this side because that's all you can see it actually from here. That's all the spaghetti monster that's behind. I mean, look at this. I've tried to keep it as tidy as possible, but yeah, it's all spaghettiing up, so you can see our concrete there. I've just got a whole bunch of these out because I didn't know what to do with the space, to be fair. And then these ones I've just actually got nothing in it because I think, but I was bringing off over steel stuff, but I've used up all of these steel beams on MK3 lines. Even though it's not super practical, we've still got them. So then we've got a whole storage here with all our stuff. These are tier 2 Mark II belts. But then after that, you've got an alternation between a space, storage unit, space, storage unit, space, storage unit, and that's just so I can kind of loop it around. But it gives it a bit of buffer kind of happening here. And then you see we're running out of our original iron rod, so we need to hook that up and get it going. And then this here, this walkway, it's just so I could have these supports without having them to come down and make this place look like a big mess. It can look like a mess up there, kind of looks like it's doing stuff, which is pretty cool. but I can just rest them on the support. So I know I can have them floating in the air, but you know, that's not super cool. So this is a bit nicer. And then you can kind of see as we go up just how things sort of work. Kind of comes up, comes across over the top of the units here, and then funnels down to the next one. Goes out, goes down across the top of the next units. And then when I hit the top, kind of got this cool walkway here. It's quite fun. And then you go back up to the top here, and where you can kind of see our tower happening. And you've got this sort of bollards happening over here with this going down. Now it's worth noting that I haven't actually got this one set up to be going down the ramp here. I've just got it coming straight through, as you can see, straight through into here. But I've kept the ramp because it looks nicer than having a gap. It would look a bit weird. And then this one's just kind of floating along the top. And that's the spare iron eventually when we set that up. So if we go and hook these up real quick, what do we got here? Plates. Plates goes into box 1. What do we got here? Rods into box 2, and screws into box 3. Cool. Now we're starting to see our production sort of coming down into our storage. That looks cool as well, actually. And if we go down here, I'm pretty sure we can fit under. Yeah, there we go. Jump on one of these storage units. Eventually, once these are all kind of running down all the levels, it's going to look quite cool. And when we have all of them running, I mean, we're going to get backed up eventually. Especially in here. But you can kind of see how it's kind of starting to funnel around, making a pretty cool looking animation here, which is nice. So yeah, there's our storage. Now if I can probably... Oh, I found that you can actually jump onto these ladders before you hit the ground, and you don't take any fall damage. You just have to be super hardcore parkour, which is fine because that's what we're all about. And then pew, back in down here, and let's see. There you go. We're funneling in iron rods. These are actually been full for a while now, and we're getting our screws. And then this is also full. Perfect. So that's 4 out of the lot. I want to get these 2 set up next. That shouldn't take too long. That's only creating a bunch of wiring and taking some of it and making it into these cables, which is fine. I'll probably use as much. I'll just make a fully efficient copper ore building for that, and get those funneled in, and then we can start reproducing these 3 again. Then we have a spare unit on the back. But for now, we have a reasonable amount of all of these to kind of tide us over as we're doing our thing, which is nice. So if I take you down into the underground real quick, that's probably the only other area that we haven't seen. There you go. You can kind of see that I've got these lines running along from all these miners, kind of going through. Here's the one that I was talking about before, the big rock on it that I can't get to, the pure iron node, but I've already got the line set up here. So this one's the one that leads through, that's empty right now. So that comes down. These two here coming along. Now these all kind of link into this little line here, one above, one below, and then we've got 4 kind of going across under the underpass here. It looks kind of nice, but still enough room to kind of drive under and get under without it looking too cramped. And then we've got 2 limestones coming up in here, merging with the 3rd one, pushing them up another lift. So yeah, so this one's pretty cool. Look at that, that looks kind of psychedelic. It's kind of cool. Be interesting to see what that's like from above, actually. Let's go up. You can see some of it moving. Some of it not so much. The copper and the limestone will both be full by now. Hey, there you go. Jump up on there. And there you go. You can see the back end of this factory here. So let's see if we can jump down here, catch the ladder without dying. I'm practicing it because I'm trying to learn it so I can get down from high heights. Nope. Alright, I'm going to do some painting. I'm going to see get some different colors for these 4 buildings since they're the ones I'm actually using right now. Now what I'm going to do is this preset, if I edit that, I'm going to copy these numbers onto a different preset because I don't think it is yet. Probably this one down here. Just so we can have, if I want to go back to the default for any reason, I'll have it saved over here and kind of like in reserve. And then we'll start mucking around with this one, changing the color, and then we'll kind of see how it affects all of these things. And then if we get to a sort of color that we like, we'll assign it to one of these other presets, paint the whole building, and then we can start mucking around with this, but that building will remain the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll muck around with a few colors and see what we get. Alright, well, I don't have enough paint. There's nowhere near enough paint. So what I've done, what I've opted for right now, which I don't know if I like or not right now, but is I've shoved 3 layers of color, individual colors on each of the buildings, a black border sort of line, and then a neutral color for the top. And I might make that neutral color a little bit lighter. Not sure. The black line is supposed to be able to sort of separate that. If I drop down here, you can kind of see it doesn't look too bad from the bottom. From up top, it looks like a lot of grey. From down here, you kind of get the colors on the different buildings. Gives it a bit of something for now, I guess. Bit different than the actual normal factory feel. It'll look a lot nicer once we start getting like windows and all this sort of going on it. But yeah, for now I think I'm just gonna kind of leave it like that, and we can improve it as we go in the future. But for now, I think that's going to do us. I've got some upgrades to the race, so I'm going to go do that to finish us off. But thank you very much for watching another episode, and we will see you next time. Bye. Damn it!